How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life and Birdland Homestead. Jays, what did you think of that for a heat wave? We lost a few plants, not too bad though. We could barely keep up with the watering. So we're lucky enough that we have a 12-volt pump going actually at the moment. And we watered most of these plants in our nursery. And keeping plants in pots in general is an awful pain. Look at this. The bees are going nuts for the catmint here. And we're going to have a lovely seed crop here as well of the great mullein, and we have some Olympic mullein down the way as well. I just wanted to show you the nursery here real quick. So we have some marshmallow plants. I'm probably going to actually plant some of those into the ground, get them to grow on a bit. I've also been harvesting the first orphrey here as well. This is a bulbous leek from Belgium, and you can just plant one of these like that, and then you get like a big cluster of bulbs next year. So they're very low maintenance. You could even leave them planted in the same spot for multiple years and you'll just get a bigger yield. Same as all the garlic. I mean, all the garlic is in the leek family anyway, but the allium orders, for those of you who ordered garlic or onions, especially the potato onions and the orphrey, I'm going to be harvesting those today and tomorrow. And probably the rest of the garlic will be harvested this week, and I'm going to send those out to you guys by the end of next week, I'd say. So we'll get those all out to you. And I just wanted to show you what's happening here. We have some seedlings. Hang on a second. This is meant to be cowslip, but that looks more like a grass. That's not cowslip. Look at these. I've got skirret growing now. Finally. After all these years, and some lovage, plenty of lovage here, and some potato onions from Clough Jordan. If you're watching, thank you Kevin for the seeds that you gave us at the last seed and plant swap. A heap of yarrow, as always. Plenty of other seed trays growing here. Looks like a lot of them, but it's not really. Once they have grown on a bit, like once they have come to size, I'm just going to move them outside and then let them mature and let them harden off a little bit. And then I have extra space in here to be able to actually grow more plants. Really, all I use this greenhouse for is both packing orders, but mostly just for starting seeds, just to germinate them, to create the right conditions, like a bit of heat. Today it was actually way too warm in here. Let me have a look here now. Today it was, can you see that there? 42 degrees when we walked in, so I had to open the doors, and now it's 25, so it's not too bad. We've got a heap of figs as well. Look at this, these fig tree branches are actually drooping with the weight of the figs pulling them down. It's kind of hard to walk through here. Look at this. Oh, that one is almost ready. There's a few figs here that are nearly ready. Usually the young fella'd be getting them before they're ready. Look at this. This is our salt bush. Oh, some apia, some madeira vine, some goji berry on this side here. Lots of bits and pieces. We have some grapes as well. It looks like the birds have been at them though. These are a really good grape actually. Best flavour grape I've ever had anyway. Let me know in the comments below if you had awful trouble watering your plants, especially plants in pots. I find they're very hard to keep up with. You could water them twice a day and they'll still be drooping. And take a look at this. Ideally you want to water them in the evening time. This is valerian. Any plants with a big leaf like that, they'll dry out much quicker. But look, now they're fine, they're saturated because we actually had our first rain last night. And I'll just show you that here, look at that. Whoa, that's kind of pot bound there. We might just plant that out, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine like that. All you need to do, if you get a plant like that in the post, for example, all you need to do is tear them up like that. Or just use a knife, cut them up a little bit. And that'll all it'll encourage new root growth. And that's all you need. For the moment, we'll put that back in the pot. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you, I just fixed the gutter yesterday as well. Take 3, let's see how it goes. So this time I used different tape. I used silage tape the first year. It lasted for about 2 years, but then it came apart because the gutter and the plastic here is waving around the place, and the gutter is expanding and contracting with the sunlight hitting it. So I used some other tape this time. I used Gorilla tape, all weather, and then I used a bit of Polydome repair tape. So I'm not using tape the whole way from here to here. So instead we have a bit of a flexible layer here that brings the water, bridges the gap so that the water flows across into the gutter, and then we simply capture it into our IBC tank. And this is the IBC tank. This is the water we caught yesterday during that rainstorm. Actually, it was early this morning after midnight that water would have come through. So I'm using a 12-volt pump, you can see here, from Vivor, and I'm using an old lead acid battery actually to power it. At the moment we are using all of our new technology batteries, the lithium phosphate batteries, for our solar system at home, which is also the next video coming up shortly. How are you doing, Levi? You doing well? Oh, he doesn't mind the heat not being here anymore. Jeez, were you roasting yesterday? Were you roasting? You poor fella. All right, excuse me. Levi, excuse me. Excuse me. Sometimes you have to say it more than once. These are Portuguese kale seedlings, and they're in the plug trays here. So let me just have a look at one, and if I can poke that out. Yeah, just about. With these new trays I can hardly stick my pinky in the bottom because the holes are slightly smaller, but you can see here they actually have 4 extra holes so you don't get pot bound plants, and that's the Portuguese kale plug plants. We always multi-sow them as well, like any plants, just to have multiple seeds in each cell because you have a better chance of germination, but also, sure, why not? Nature will do its spacings anyway. We got some great mullein here as well. I've had to water all these plants so much in the last 3 or 4 days. It's just been a lot of work, a lot of extra work. The great thing about growing plants in Ireland, especially trees out in the field actually, Ireland is a wet climate and it's ideal for growing plants, except for when there's a drought. When there is a heat wave on top of that, then you've got real trouble trying to keep up with the watering, because you could water them in the morning and in the evening and they still dry out. So that's why all these plants here have been toughened up, and whatever plants are still here will actually be very drought resistant and also very cold resistant. A lot of these plants are this year's plants, but some of them are last year's as well, that we grew from cuttings, like all the willows and elder and all the kale here. You can see them here. This is actually motherwort, that one here. That's the white miniature comfrey. We got yarrow, Chinese mint bush. Lots of lovely new plants. Got a ton of feverfew. Look at this. These feverfew plants here are trying to go to flower. They are going to flower, even though they're still in the pot. They haven't even been planted out and they can't wait. So feverfew is one of those plants that's actually too easy to grow. It'll actually spread in your garden and naturalize, which is sound if you want to use it and if you like it, if you like the looks of it. But also it's great for the insects as well. So we don't mind that at all. Look at the rest of the garden over there. I won't make the video too long now. If you'd like to avail of any of our plants, they're available on our website. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you the next time. Bye bye. Oh, and stay tuned for our third and last video in the solar power system series. That's coming out soon. Geez, the horseflies were really at me yesterday. I think I must have come across 20 of them coming after me. And thank God these raspberries here were actually a good variety. They're good big raspberries. You can see one here, not quite ready though. And here's some as well. The birds have been at these. But I actually let these grow in the last 3 years, and it's kind of a risk, because if they're only small little ones, it's probably not worthwhile. But if it's a nice variety that's nice to eat and substantial enough harvests, then it's a win. So most of these raspberries beside the polytunnel here ended up actually being a good variety. So lucky, it's a very lucky turn of events here, because look how many new plants we've got here. Look, a ton of them. Just in this little area here, just 1 square meter here is probably 15 plants. And that's great, because we'll use them and we'll dig them up in the winter time. And you can also see some American elder here, just about getting ready to open its flowers. And I'm looking forward to using those to make some cordials and maybe even a bit more wine. To be honest with you, I actually got some wine of the American elder from last year, but I haven't actually tried it yet. It's a year old now. It's been stored in a demijohn, so hopefully it should be ready to go. I'll report back to you in the next video. I might even make a dedicated video just for the American elder. Some iced tea mint. Very refreshing. Would you like some iced tea?
Yeah.
Good man yourself. Is it refreshing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a chewing gum, is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not spearmint though, but it's iced tea. What are you watching here now? Minecraft, is it? Mm-hmm. Good man yourself. But not too much of it. Mm-hmm. Look at all these plants in here actually. I didn't get to show you this part of the greenhouse. It's actually moth mullen, I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, that is moth mullen. I might take the seeds from it. Look at that. The bee. I'm also trying some Apios plants here in a container. Let's see what happens. I'll keep you posted and make a harvest video on these. Let's see how they do. They do dry out much quicker though in a container. That's a 12-litre bucket, but you can see the level of the compost has already dropped a bit. Yeah, it's working. That's the gutter take 3, and it's fixed up and working. Check it out. Delighted now.